I'm Austin,
I'm Quintin,
and this is XMAS Movies.
where we talk about Christmas classics that aren't exactly classics. This time, we're talking about Gremlins. I've seen Gremlins 2.
That's a very... Why do you see the sequels to things before you see the original?
Because my fucking family makes me watch it. My cousin, Raven, we were hanging out together when I was, 5 years old, and she randomly started talking about the first Gremlins, and then turned on the second one, and I literally could not sleep. For years Gremlins terrified me, and I never wanted to watch this movie, but I did, and I really really liked it.
This movie is really fun, actually.
Yeah, it is.
So this movie centers around this inventor father who steals this little gremlin, the gizmo, which is the little furry looking gremlin,
little mogwai.
Yeah,
this little furry creature as a Christmas present for his son. And I want to say, every time I've heard this movie described, whenever someone says "Oh, this father's getting a gift for his son," I always imagine Billy being
a child. No, he's 18. He's an adult. He's he's the one making the money for his family. He works at a bank. This isn't a child. This is a goddamn adult.
Yeah, but anyways, I think I'm gonna be honest with you. I think everyone knows Gremlins. I don't think we need to get too much into the plot. I think most, I know people who have never seen this movie that know Gizmo.
Yeah, well, it's an iconic character that was totally ripped
he gets the Gizmo. Gizmo gets water on him, multiplies. The other Mogwai eat after midnight. They turn into little gremlins. They fuck shit up. Yeah, that's the movie.
I really love this movie, actually. This is okay, so what I like to think that my movie taste is very wide, but one of the few genres that I do not watch is anything horror related. So, and I've only recently been starting to break that barrier, primarily because I have been forced to do that by outside forces. Every single horror movie that I've watched has been for some kind of film class, or, well, in this case, this is we watched this movie, and we potentially have other horror movies on this list. And this is, I'm slowly coming to really appreciate horror movies, especially from the late 80s, early 90s, and as just very honestly very fun movies. They're not this wasn't really that scary, but I understand. Okay, so this film is largely credited for being one of the two films, both Spielberg films, by the way, well,
Spielberg involved films.
And that was basically
instrumental in creating the PG-13 rating. This and Temple of Doom.
I fully understand.
No,
holy shit.
It went really brutal. The mom at one point shoves a gremlin into a microwave.
Yeah.
It was really fucking brutal.
Every single time that they kill a gremlin, it's not they bat it off. They show it in excruciating detail how exactly that gremlin was killed.
The filmmaking, and I know we try here to talk about these movies not as movies but as Christmas movies, but I just want to say the filmmaking in this movie, the effects and the cinematography are incredible. They're just really interesting to watch.
And the nature of the puppets, they're really well designed, and the way that they use them is extremely effective. You really feel that these are actual creatures, and they're really just fucking terrible.
I fucking love it. I'm trying to this is a problem with the nature of how we record this podcast, which is we watch one of these movies and then we do not marinate our thoughts at all, and we just sit down and record it.
I think the only one where we've we've done it for 2 of the episodes where we've waited, but that's because we re-recorded the first episode because we talked for 40 minutes
and then
about Home Alone
the
2.
night before we had to take a break in between recording, but I'm trying to think of things. The Christmas element in this movie is a lot more prevalent than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, but it still is very secondary. It's not
I think I was watching this and I was thinking about it a lot. And I was thinking about the way the Gremlins act, which is very gluttonous. And everyone in the movie is all there's a character in the movie that's this foreign technology, and and you made a comment on the father trying to sell shit and stuff like that, and I think it seems a bit like a comment on Western like consumption and capitalism in a weirdly more effective way than Jingle All the Way.
Oh, in a 100% more effective way than Jingle All the Way. Yeah,
because it's a
good movie.
Yeah, this is about American gluttony, which is, when you think about it in relation to the Yuletide season, is very relevant. Like, those themes are very relevant.
I will say it's more of them mentioning it than it is them actually exploring it, I would say. But it is definitely still a very prevalent feature of this movie.
I think the Gremlins are the most effective part, because it's like literally them like being just like, it's showing like fucking Gizmo is like this cute little pure being that just kind of like is appreciating everything, and then the Gremlins are like disgusting and like are fucking indulging in everything and are like wreaking havoc, and that is it feels like a very explicit depiction of American consumerism.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a lot like that, and I feel
especially because literally the guy at the beginning of the movie does not want to sell Gizmo, and the dad is like, I'm gonna buy this fucking Gremlin.
Yeah, and like the nature of like kind of like Western consumerism, where we think like, oh, we can buy this, like you can buy anything.
It literally pits two different. I'm thinking about it now. It literally pits two different cultures in terms of their consumerism, with like Eastern versus Western consumption.
Granted, the Eastern elements of this movie are definitely tokenized. And
what was the one thing? Oh my god! Do you remember when he he's like talking about brushing your teeth, and he's like, when you've got dragon's breath, and then he looks down and there's a statue of a dragon and then a gong plays.
Oh my god, it's like it's still an 80s movie. It's not, they can't get past that, unfortunately. That's like, there are very few, like there's still like the very 80s tropes, like the first person to die in this movie is a black man. It's like,
no, that wasn't great.
Yeah, it's still a very 80s movie, obvious. Like, he's also the only black man in the movie. Which Yeah. This movie still falls into a lot of the pitfalls that a lot of 80s movies suffer from. And I think that's just because they're like playing, and like very few of these stereotypes are often like depicted with a lot of malicious intent. It's just like white people made this and white people starred in this. And when these features are prevalent and like they do show these cultures, they don't give them any respect.
Yeah, I do not think we are the people to discuss this, but like when you look at especially movies like this, I don't think it's necessarily intentional in terms of like the science teacher being the only African American character, being the first one to be fucking killed.
Yeah.
But I think with the shopkeeper and like Chinatown and all that stuff, I think it becomes slightly more conscious than subconscious there, but I don't know.
It's definitely playing into tropes that are not very great.
Yeah. It's so odd to think that, because this is one of the movies on this list that I know a lot of people actually watch during the Christmas season.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, my girlfriend's aunt, this is one of her favorite movies, and she watches it a lot at Christmas. And it's odd to me that this movie and A Christmas Story, two very popular movies set at Christmas, both feature kind of like really shitty tropes with Asian people, like with the Chinese restaurant at the end.
Yeah.
Like, that's like a 3-minute... We're not talking about Christmas Story. Fuck, we're talking about Gremlins.
Yeah.
We're talking about 1984's Gremlins.
Is it 84 or 86?
84.
84, okay.
Same day as Go... This movie came out in June.
Yeah, it's a lot of like really weird things, like where movies come out in like a time period when they maybe like, okay, so this is a horror movie set at Christmas, so it could have come out feasibly at two different times. It could have come out around the Halloween season in like October, or it could have come out in December, and it didn't. It came out in June, which is...
That's so weird.
I mean, like summer movies. Wait, this came out after Jaws. Yes. This is like
Did this come out after Jaws? Yes, it did.
No, yeah, like, because like considering this is like Steven Spielberg produced this.
Jaws made Steven Spielberg. I don't think he would have had a hand in making Gremlins
that's
prior.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. I'm dumb.
I don't think someone would have been like, let's give this little newcomer executive producer.
That's fair. Oh my god. No, but yeah, like this is like, I mean, like summer movies were definitely like just a thing in like the 80s a lot more than they are now, I would say. Jaws started that, and it's like that, and this is still riding that wave. So that's probably why it came out in the summer, because they wanted this to be like a kind of blockbuster. But yeah, let's talk about it as a Christmas movie. Segues, what are they?
I mean, like, I stated my case already. I think it is one of the better and more intentional, like, kind of commentaries on the shittier parts of Christmas. I think Jingle All the Way tries and fails.
Home Alone 2 is unintentional.
Is unintentional entirely. But Jingle All the Way, being the last movie that we watched, it tries very hard, and in its failings is where it becomes more of a critique, but more in terms of like, you can critique the movie, and that's where you can find critiques. In Gremlins, like, the critiques are part of like the text of the movie, not
the like context of like people just like viewing it as a movie.
Yeah,
instead of like, it's intentional. It's very clearly intended to be this like idea, this like commentary on consumerism with like the Gremlins and Gizmo in general, and like that contrast, and also the dad with like, he's like constantly trying to like sell shit that like, there's just a lot of weird and wacky characters in this movie,
which is, I think, due to the fact that it's like an 80s movie.
Yeah.
I think that's just a thing.
We this is side comment. We watched Ghostbusters Afterlife recently, and by recently I mean like 2 nights ago.
Did we talk about it in the last one? I think we
a little bit.
I think we ended oh my god.
We talked about how we were going to Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I think I would have not wanted to record any more of this podcast had I not seen Ghostbusters Afterlife. Jingle All the Way fucking took it out of me.
Oh yeah.
But I'm so glad that I watched Ghostbusters Afterlife, and it kicked me up, because I'm really glad I saw this movie.
Because Ghostbusters Afterlife is like, in all honesty, it's a very 80s movie, and a lot of like it seems to be like there's a lot of similarities between Ghostbusters Afterlife and Gremlins, kind of in like the weird like 80s nature of it.
Yeah, I think
I like. It's cool.
I think that's more so just like Ghostbusters Afterlife is trying to feel like a movie from the 80s, because it's a continuation of that series, and I think it feels like it because Gremlins just is one of those movies from the 80s. But yeah,
with like a lot of wacky and zany characters.
I'm really glad I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife, because it gave me the energy to get through my week and to watch Gremlins, and I'm very happy I watched Gremlins.
No, yeah. I think, where do you think this kind of ranks? I think this is definitely, is this the best one we've seen so far? Or do you put Night Before above this?
In terms of Christmassy?
Yes.
In terms of its like how it functions as a Christmas movie?
Yes.
I'm trying to think about this. Where do you think it ranks?
So I think Jingle All the Way is at the bottom of our list right now, right?
Yes. For me,
Jingle All the Way, Home Alone 2,
Iron Man 3,
Night Before. I think it might go between Iron Man 3 and Night Before. Well, because it's less being, it might go between the two, because I think I can see this being a much more effective like movie as like a recurring movie to watch. I can see people watching this every year, and I see why people watch this every year. But I do think it is still the first thing. Its first function is as a horror movie.
Yeah,
as like,
no, I agree with that.
That's its first function, and then the Christmas function is like a very close second, and like it's just like barely under A Night Before as a Christmas movie. But I would argue that it is definitely a better movie to watch around Christmas. Because like with all of the other Christmas classics that are very like standard, Night Before kind of follows those tropes to a T, while still being a stoner comedy. But this is a kind of good it's a fun subversion of all of the tropes in modern Christmas movies.
I think I'm like really debating internally. I think that this for me is slightly above The Night Before because of the nostalgic feeling of it, which I think is just by the nature of like the filmmaking and the look of the movie. But like for me, seeing like the backlot with fake snow and wreaths and everything, and
it does feel a lot like it feels. Yeah,
I don't know.
The aesthetic is definitely there. I would say that the aesthetic is what carries this movie in terms of its Christmassiness.
I'm like, really? You're okay. You know what? I'm gonna concede to you. I'm gonna say this is slightly below, just because I think the horror elements
do take the forefront. I think they are the main focus of this movie.
And I think for me, Gremlins, because I saw Gremlins 2 first, has always been more of just that. It's been Gremlins and not a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And also I think the conception of this movie is very like divorced from Christmas, which is I did a little bit of research. You know that one character who was like, in WW2 the fucking the Gremlins took us down when we were in the skies. That was a real piece of folklore. That in the British Royal Air Force, going back to World War II, where they were like saying that Gremlins were in their planes causing malfunctions.
What the fuck?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's such a weird detail.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. There are propaganda posters. Gremlins think it's fun to hurt you. Use care always. Back up our battle skies.
What the fuck?
Man, this makes for such good radio when I show the propaganda
like
poster.
It's a wartime poster.
Yeah, it's a guy in, I assume, a factory being attacked by these little fuckers.
It's so weird. Why was that a thing?
I don't know, but yeah, I think I like it. The aesthetic of the movie feels more Christmassy, but I think The Night Before functions as a better Christmas movie than this one does, like you said, because it is focused more on horror and less about how how the horror of that interacts with Christmas, whereas The Night Before is like about that. It's about like these kind of like difficult things going on and like how they are exacerbated by the Christmas season. That being said, I can see myself definitely watching Gremlins more than I've seen The Night Before, and I think
I can see this being a yearly thing for a lot of people.
I think this is out of like the reason why I hate putting it below is because I think out of all of these movies, this has been my favorite one.
Oh,
so far.
Easily, yeah. This is the one I had the most fun watching, 100%.
This is
a lot of it is to do. I will say a lot of it has to do with the very good puppetry. Oh my god, and again, I can see why the PG-13 rating was created after this, because fuck, this is like these are effects that are like out of like The Thing, and like this is like literally like these are like, if you were to put an image from Gremlins and an image from John Carpenter's The Thing side by side, you could feasibly confuse the two. It's ridiculous.
No, the effects in this are incredible, and I think for me, I think this is also, in my opinion, the best made movie we have seen so far.
Yes.
I'm thinking about this. What have we seen? Yeah.
I would say Iron Man 3 is the second best, but like it's a Marvel movie, so.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think just like everything about this really comes together in a really amazing way. And I don't want to put it second in terms of like how it functions as a Christmas movie, because of how much I now am obsessed with this movie and how much I want a little Gizmo plush. But
that's one thing that this movie did is spark the fucking Furby mania. Holy shit.
Oh yeah. We couldn't figure out if it was rumored or not, but apparently Warner Bros. It was Warner Bros. Right?
Yeah, Warner Bros. Apparently sued Tiger Electronics, which made Furbies. Yes, Tiger Electronics.
I thought it was Hasbro.
Tiger Electronics originally made it, then Hasbro bought Tiger Electronics.
Gotcha. Okay. But
yeah, Tiger Electronics is weird.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get into that though. But man, this was just a cute and fun movie. And I was like looking at the shots. I'm like, these are just fun shots.
Yeah.
Like the scene with the projector and the
bar
science
scene.
room. I was just like, this is just a fun movie.
Yeah.
God, I'm really glad we watched this and Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Because we've been seeing some shitty movies.
But I'm glad we saw some fun movies.
Yeah. Next,
we are talking about maybe a not so fun movie. We're gonna watch the Stanley Kubrick film.
Stanley Kubrick's final film.
It was final film?
Yes, it died. It was released after he died.
Oh God, I feel bad because I was about to. We're watching Eyes Wide Shut, the erotic thriller. It's set at Christmas.
It's set at Christmas.
Gremlins and Eyes Wide Shut. Oh boy.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening. Happy holidays, everyone.
I'm Austin.
I'm Quintin.
Yeah.
Bye.